Yo guys, what is up and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing the AC Milan podcast. It is episode number 3. I let it run out a bit. I was meant to be doing it after the 0-0 draw to Bologna. Yeah, Milan-Bologna, 0-0 draw. I think I might take these off. Hopefully the camera stays focused. So yeah, welcome to episode 3 of the podcast, AC Milan podcast. So, we are starting off here. Again, I have notes, obviously, because I can never remember stuff off the top of my head, so I will have to read the notes. The predictions from last week, I'm going to go over them quickly before we get into this week's episode. I've already spoken about a few things, but I'll just edit it, so it seems like I've spoken about nothing. So yeah, the predictions was 4-1 for Sassuolo. And they came, no, it was 3-1 and they came 4-1 for Sassuolo against Spezia. Genoa Torino, I voted for them to come a draw, they came 1-0. Napoli Udinese, I voted 2-1, they came 2-1. Inter Fiorentina, I voted 3-2, they came 1-1. Cagliari Milan, I did 2-0 and they came 1-0 for Milan. Venezia 2-2, and if I'm not mistaken, Sampdoria won 2-0. As I was saying, Venezia Sampdoria, I voted for them to come 2-2. They came 2-0 for Sampdoria. Empoli Verona, thought they would come 2-1 for Verona. They came 1-1. Juventus Sanitaria, I voted them to come 2-0. They came 2-1. No, I voted for them to come 2-1. They came 2-0. Roma Lazio, voted for them to come 1-1. They came 3-0 for Roma. And Bologna Atlanta came, I voted for them to come 1-1, and they came 1-0 for Atlanta. Talking about these games, Sassuolo again dominating, Genoa coming out of that rut that they were in of a 0-0-0-0, always 0-0s or 1-1s. Napoli extending the pressure on Milan and Inter. Inter drawing against Fiorentina, which means that they gave a bigger lead, a bigger advantage to the two teams on top of them, Milan and Napoli. Cagliari Milan 1-0, as you all know. Venezia Sampdoria 2-0 for Sampdoria. Empoli Verona 1-1. Juventus Sanitaria, Juve putting the pressure on those top 3 teams. Roma Lazio, incredible 3-0 win for Roma. Don't know how that happened, but very nice. And Atlanta managed to slip that 1-0 scoreline against Bologna, which was the scorelines of the first weekend that I wanted to speak about. So, week 1 was AC Milan Cagliari. We're going to talk about AC Milan first. I'm just going to go free flow here mode. I'm not really going to follow the notes completely, but I'm just going to go in free flow mode right now. So, AC Milan Cagliari 1-0. Kalulu, Tomori and Maignan has worked again, and I'm going to say this for the last few matches, going back to even Torino, not Torino Milan, that was the last match, Napoli Milan, Inter Milan. The last time it didn't work was Sanitaria, and I don't even think Kalulu played in that game, and also Maignan did some mistakes, so obviously it wasn't going to work. But yeah, Milan Cagliari, decent game again. A 1-0 finish, too many misses, unlucky like with the games against Torino and Bologna. I'll speak more in depth about them very, very soon. Leao has seemed out of it in the last few matches. Even though he has been one of the best players on the pitch, he has still seemed out of it, and he didn't seem like himself like he was a few months ago when he was bagging goals left, right and centre. Theo was playing very central in these last few matches. The last few matches he's been playing very central and not wide, which is very weird. Brahim and Messias, they were better than Milan Empoli, but then in the last few matches again they've dipped off, and I would want to see them replaced if I'm completely honest. Brahim, he can be a second player, but then again paying 20-something million for a second team player, is that really worth it? I don't think so. The Benacer goal was very, very good. He's a very underrated player. And that goal actually really amazed me. It was some very nice football. If you watched the goal, if you watched the lead build up to the goal, it was some very nice tiki-taka one-touch football that led to the goal, and a very nice layoff from Giroud that led to that Benacer volley. So I am very happy about Benaker's goal. Hopefully it will push him to do better. It was a very one-sided game apart from 2 shots from Cagliari, and we were very lucky as one of them hit the post in the final few minutes. Rebic did improve in this match, but then he has fallen off again since then. In this match, I would rate Milan 7.5, Calabria a 6, 5.5, Tomori a 7, Kalulu 7.5, Thankyou a 7, Kessie 6, Benaker an 8 for that wonderful goal and some very good work rates. Salamakers 5.56, Messias 5.56, Cringe nothing because he came in the last few minutes, Ibra nothing because he came in the last few minutes, Diaz 6.5, Giroud 6, Rebic 6.5, Leao 5.56. That was the Milan-Cagliari game. Now, I want to speak about Milan overall here because, obviously, I want to speak about them overall. That was the Milan-Cagliari game. Milan-Bologna game, it was very, very... the scoreline didn't tell the right result because Milan-Bologna was a very good game. We had many of the chances. We didn't take them. Giroud, Tonali... there's a pattern here in these last few matches. The last 3 especially. You could even say the last 4. Leao, even though he has been very lackluster recently, he has been our best player in those back 3 players. The players that play behind the striker. So Salamakers, Diaz, Messias, Castillejo, who hasn't even shown his face. He hasn't even been called up, I don't think, at that right wing position. Rebic and Maldini, he has been the best one, even though he's been not in good form, which says a lot, to be honest. Talking about strikers, Ibra got injured, so he couldn't play against Torino. Giroud is out of form right now since he did that goal against Napoli and those few goals against Inter and a few goals against Lazio as well. He's just been completely out of it. I don't know what's happened. Obviously, service matters a lot at that point in that stage. Kessie was playing at Cam and he was doing well. And yeah, I'm very surprised about how they played in these last few matches. One thing that's definitely working for Milan in the last few matches has been the defence. The defence has kept clean sheets for a load of games. I can't remember the last time we conceded a goal. I think it was against... Was it against Sanitaria? It could be. Honestly, could be against Sanitaria, if I'm not mistaken. And that was a 2-2 draw back in February, if I'm not mistaken. So it could be that Sanitaria thing. I don't think Kalulu and Tomori have conceded a goal yet, if I'm not mistaken. Manyan in net, and Thankyou and Calabria. Calabria have been a bit out of form lately, but he's been doing well. And Thankyou has been decent as well at the back. Midfield of Benaker and Tonali has been great. When Kessie comes on, I prefer him at Cam than into CDM position, but honestly, he's not a Cam either, but he's better than any of the Cams we have right now, as Diaz is making a few mistakes as well. So I'm not sure about that, but at the same time, we do need a better Cam than Kessie, as he is leaving, obviously. What else was I going to say? Yeah, basically they just lackluster in their attack, Milan, because the midfield is very, very good, the defence is very, very good, as you can see. Kalulu being scoring the goals, and Benaker scoring the goals as well. The last few games it's been Benaker, Giroud and Kalulu. That just says a lot, you know. The last few matches we haven't scored any goals in the attack. Like last 5 matches, none of their attackers have scored any goals. So yeah, I wanted to touch on something, which I will touch on quickly now. I think it's on here. Let me find the notes. Here we go. I just have some stats here for you that I just realised. In the last 5 games, we shot 92 shots towards the goal. Most of them were blocked, off target, or saved by the goalkeeper, or posts, and 3 of them went in. 3. In the last 5 matches, 3 of them out of 92 shots went in. We scored, out of all of these matches, none of them were 2-goal matches. Only one of them was a 2-goal match, and this was Sanitaria match. From the last 9 matches, only the Sanitaria match did we score 2 goals, and that was a draw against Sanitaria, where we dropped points yet again. The other ones were either 0-0s or a 1-0 win for us. Or a 1-1, I think. There might have been 1-1-1 in there. But that is absolutely insane to think that we've won, out of all of these, were all 1-0s. All of these matches that we won were 1-0s only. from the last 9 matches. So any matches that we won in there were only 1-0s. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, Juventus did that a few seasons ago. Yeah, but when you're relying on 1-0 score lines, this is what happens. You rely on the 1-0 scoreline and you come 0-0 and then you've just lost the league. Yeah, so that is completely and utterly out of our control now, basically. We've passed it back onto Inter, which is what they wanted. Talking about Inter, they beat Hellas Verona and who else did they beat last weekend? Juventus, yeah, that match. Oh my god. And the weekend before they beat someone else, or did they draw against someone else? So, as I was saying, I don't know, man. I was giving you the facts, right? And there is no consistent right wing. We don't have a consistent right wing in the team. Literally, Sanamakers is not consistent. Messias is not consistent. The right wings, Castillejo is not consistent. Florenzi, if he does play there, he rarely plays in there, but when he does play in there, he's decent, but he's been injured, so he can't play there. Cringe, don't even get me started, he's not going to play right wing. He's played left wing cam, we're not going to switch him on to right wing now as well. So, there's no consistent right wing. In the middle, we got the cam. There's no consistent cam. We have Cringe, Kessie, and Brahim Diaz, Messias, and Maldini. None of them have been consistent, which means, you know, either way, Kessie and Cringe aren't meant to be cams. Maldini's still too young to be a first-team player to rely on him to win the league. And Diaz, again, he's still young, but he has proved to be the best one in the position, even though Kessie has had some good performances there. And then you've got Messias, who always veers to the right, so there's no point in playing him behind the attackers. Yesterday's match against Torino, when we came 0-0, what was the coach thinking bringing out Cringe and Gabbia? I know we didn't have many players, but there was Bakayoko, and when we were losing in one game, specifically against Bologna, I remember that he came out and he gave the cross for the Benacer banger against Bologna way back in the beginning of the season. Obviously, Cringe has helped in Milan goals before. I'm not saying he hasn't. But Gabbia? Why Gabbia? Why not bring on Lazetic and play a 2-striker formation? It's literally, he was there in the bench. I'm not sure, he played something with the Primavera, I think. But why would he call him up if he's not going to use him? It makes no sense. Why would you bring on Gabbia when you're 0-0? You're 0-0, bro. Why are you bringing on Gabbia? I don't get it. We were hit with 4 injuries, or some sort of injuries. We had Romagnoli, I don't think was there. We had, I think it was Benacer, Ibrahimovic, and Rebic. I think those were the 4. Romagnoli, Ibrahimovic, Romagnoli, Ibrahimovic, Kier is still out, Benacer, and Rebic. Those were all not there today. Well, yesterday for the game against Torino. The team isn't free-flowing. You remember when we used to see that free-flowing football, one-touch football, all over the place. They were all over every team. Counter-attacks were fast and they were rapid and they were always on their toes to react to a loose ball. It just wasn't happening for them recently, and I don't know why. Obviously, there's no support for Giroud, but Leao, when there is Leao trying to support Giroud, he plays a lot on his own. He dribbles and loses the ball, so that's another reason I think for our loss. And we lost our Grinta, especially against Torino. We didn't have the Grinta to play the game. We didn't have anything to play the game. With literally the Torino game, I haven't really spoken about it much, but it was just lackluster. There was no will to win the game. You're putting in Gabbia at defence in like the 80th minute. You don't have any will to win when you're putting in a defender in the 8th minute. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I haven't read a lot about it. It could be because Tomori was feeling a knock or something, but if it wasn't because of that, then there's no point in bringing on Gabbia in that minute, for sure. Apart from all this criticism, the one thing that you can say is that the defence has been good. As I said before, they have kept clean sheets for a long time. And I just want to rate the team quickly against Bologna. I'll give Magnan a 7, Calabria a 6, Theo a 6, Tomori a 6.5, Kalulu a 6, Theo a 6.5, Benacer a 6, Tomori a 7, Tonali a 7, sorry, Leao a 6.5, Messias a 5, Messias I already said. Rebic a 5, Diaz a 5.5, Giroud a 6, and Ibrahimovic a 6. Yeah, basically we're bottling it. We're bottling the league for the simple reason that I don't know, the youngsters? Is it the youngsters? I don't know what it is. Is it because Pioli's bringing in Gabbia in the 80th minute against a drawing game in Torino? I don't know. But I've spoken a lot about Milan. I will speak more about Milan again, but I just want to go over a few things that I wanted to touch on. So the teams underneath us, they're Napoli, Juventus, and Inter. So yeah, I'm going to go over a few of the games in Serie A, apart from those that I've already mentioned. So I went over all of these. So, some of the best matches in the last few weeks have been Juventus versus Inter, which I want to delve into a bit more. Juve were very dominant, Inter was very lucky. Like, come on, man. Have you seen the amount of shots Juventus had, and the amount of saves Handanovic made, and the amount of posts that Juventus hit? I think they hit one or two posts. There was that penalty incident where he had to retake the penalty because of an own goal, but he was pushed, but he wasn't pushed because I don't know what happened there, man. Honestly, it was a goal for Inter, I'm pretty sure, and then he was pushed by Calhanoglu, and the goal went in. But technically, if he was pushed, the goal should have been called back, but penalty should have been retaken. But then again, apparently Delic stepped in the penalty area while they were taking the penalty, and that is why the penalty was retaken, which was a total mess of the situation. But I don't know what happened there. I've seen some photos, and the ref miserably failed on many accounts in terms of not penalties only, but also the free kicks and the type of cards he brought out in the game. Zakaria also has contact in the penalty area, which the ref missed at some point. He just completely missed it. Lautaro absolutely destroyed Locatelli. I don't know what the hell happened there and why that wasn't a foul. And then there was the Calhanoglu versus Danilo incident in the penalty box, which apparently should have ruled out the goal for Inter, but then apparently Delic stepped in the penalty box when they went back to see VAR. But I don't know what happened there, honestly. In the same week, I'm pretty sure even Belotti had to retake a penalty because someone stepped in the box. So I'm not sure what's happening in the whole scenario in Serie A, because it's an absolute mess right now in Serie A this season, especially. I'm going to delve into a bit more in the Roma game. As I said before, they finished 3-0. A wonderful free kick from Pellegrini, an in-form Abraham, and Roma was very, very dominant in that match. Scamacca and Raspadori and Berardi were dominating in that Sassuolo Spezia match that finished 4-1. Raspadori hit back again, and he also scored in the 3-2 Italian national team against Turkey. Verde is the only player that shined for Spezia in that game, where he scored a great goal in that game. And Berardi hit his milestone of 100 goals in Serie A in that match. So we're going to speak about this week's games now. We're going to speak about Inter Verona. Verona finished 2-0 with goals from Dzeko and Barella. Realistically, you have to say Inter showed up in this match. It was one of the matches that they could have dropped points in, as Verona have been on quite decent this season. But Simeone didn't show up. No one really showed up from Verona. And they lost to Inter 2-0. They won it more than us, realistically speaking. They dropped less points with lower ranking teams than us, and they have more quality at the end of the day. So Inter, right now, I think are the best candidate for the Serie A. Right now, just speaking in this point in time. Juventus finished 2-1 against Cagliari. They first went down, and then they pulled back with Delict and Vlahovic getting goals. Juventus, obviously, they're showing up once again, not losing. After losing that match against Inter, was very important for them to show up and try and push up into that first position if they even want to, because if they would have been Inter, they would have been 3 points from Milan. So, considering, they did very well. They started off poorly, as I said, but then they won back. And yeah, they lost again they would have went down the drain because there would have been Roma on their tail. Now, going on to Roma, they came 2-1 against Sanitaria. Smalling and Perez winning it at the last minutes for them, and Radovanovic scoring a great free kick to almost keep Sanitaria's hopes of being in Serie A there, and yeah, they just couldn't keep on, and Roma beat them. Very luckily, I would add, because even though they were in the game and they're quite good in the game, they did win in the final minutes of the game. But it's football, anything can happen. So yeah, Venezia Udinese finished 2-1. Delafeu and Henry scored, and Becao scored in the final minutes for Udinese that led them on to win the game. Henry has 7 goals. Now I want to speak about this. Henry has 7 goals, right? Or Henry, whatever. He has 7 goals. Ibrahimovic has 8, or 7, or 6, whatever he has. And Giroud has 8, Leao has 8, and then no one else from Milan has 8 goals. This guy almost has the same amount of goals as Milan's top scorer in Serie A. Milan's 2 top scorers in Serie A. How can a player from Venezia, who are 18th, have the same amount of goals as Milan's top scorer, or almost the same? By the time the season ends, Giroud will probably end on 9, and he'd probably end on 10, knowing that Milan's luck right now. I just wanted to quickly touch on that. And Delafeu has 10 goals in Serie A, and Milan have been linked with him. He probably is only worth like 10 to 15 million at the age of 29. He's probably only worth that at the age of 29. He's coming past his prime now, and he was a lover of Milan. Why not just get him back as a backup right wing? You know, just give them one of the small Milan players, right? One of the youngsters, like Maldini on loan. Or, I know there was, what's his name? A youngster from Milan that wanted to leave. Give them him. Loan them Lazetic for next season, and bring in Delafeu for that right wing position as a backup, not even as a starter. Do you have a backup like Delafeu, and then you have like a starter like Berardi? It just makes sense to me, but apparently, I don't know. Hopefully it will make sense to the Milan management as well at some point, and they will bring him in. Moving on to Atalanta Sassuolo. Atalanta is losing game after game after game. They have won only 3 wins in 14 games. So yeah, I'm not sure what's happened to Atalanta. Let me know down below in the comments what you think has happened. They have most of the players available and fit, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But Scamacca, with that amazing flick on for Hamed's amazing off-the-bar goal, was quite impressive. And Hamed is about to take on Serie A on his own. He is a phenomenal player who might even move to Napoli at the end of the season, which is very sad. As I was saying, Sassuolo are going to get demolished, and every Serie A team and teams outside Serie A are going to go and take their players. So I'm hoping we still see Sassuolo up there within the top 10 next year in Serie A. Napoli against Fiorentina finished 2-3, which is very, very good for us, as they need to drop points for us to stay up in that top position, and they did. Mertens and Osimhen getting the goals for Napoli, Icone and Gonzalez and Cabral getting the goals for Fiorentina. A very intense match, which was very, very even in my opinion. Cabral scores a phenomenal goal, and so does Osimhen. Almost a comeback from Napoli in the final minutes, but they did lose in the end. Last 2 matches I want to quickly touch on from this week was Empoli versus Venezia. Neither team could score. There are 2 teams that are battling for the relegation, and they might just both manage to seal that spot to stay in Serie A. And it was basically a game that was Provedel versus Vicario, the 2 goalkeepers of the 2 teams. Lazio versus Genoa. Realistically, from what I've seen in that Genoa game, apart from that wonderful run from that player that managed to hit it off a player to make it an own goal, it was an absolutely disaster performance from Genoa. After all of those okay performances, even getting a draw against Inter, Lazio demolished them. But Lazio's attack is one of the best attacks in Serie A right now. So yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do against them, but we do need to beat them next week. Immobile, a hat-trick. I'm not sure how. He scores so many goals with Lazio, and he can't score 1 goal with the national team. It's like he's a 2 million rated striker in the national team, and in the Serie A, he's like a 40 million or more rated striker. It absolutely blows my mind. But Lazio do move on to 6, and they keep pressure on Atalanta and Fiorentina for those Europa League positions. Now we're going to move on to some things that I just want to say in general about Milan. I want to talk about a few topics around surrounding the team, which I've written down, and about Serie A in general. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So yeah, I basically wanted to state our Europa Champions League earnings this season. It was 46 million, around that. Atlanta is below us at 34 million. Inter are above us at 64 million, and Juventus are first with 77 million. I now wanted to predict some of the quarterfinals and basically all of the quarterfinals, even though some of them have been played already. Chelsea Real, they already come 3-1, so I think Real would pass. Villarreal, Bayern, I'm going to go with Villarreal. I'm going to make it a bit of an upset and go with Villarreal. Manchester City and Atletico, I'm going to go with a draw, and City get knocked out in penalties against Atletico. And Liverpool, Benfica, I'm going to go with a Liverpool win. So it will be Atletico, Villarreal, Chelsea and Liverpool in the final, in the semi-finals. Quarterfinals, I'm going to go with Roma, still managing to win after they lost against Bodo Glimt. Feyenoord winning against Slavia Prague. Marseille winning against PAOK, and Leicester City winning against PSV. And Europa League, basically, I would go with Atlanta against RB Leipzig, Barcelona against Frankfurt, West Ham against Lyon, I will go with West Ham, and then again Rangers against Braga, I will go with Rangers. I actually don't know any of the results of the Europa League games, but I gave my predictions and those are done and dusted. Now I also wanted to talk about Atlanta sporting director leaving Atlanta. Apparently that he's going to be leaving Atlanta. He is the coach that brought in the sporting director that brought in the likes of Gomez, Ilicic, Hataboa, Derun, Dimitri, Toloi, and a few others like Zapata and Gomez. And he is leaving. I'm not sure to what team he's going to, but he is leaving Atlanta, which could obviously have massive implications to their team in the future. Dybala is leaving Juventus, and he has said that he might want to come with AC Milan or Inter Milan. So I'm not really sure who he will be leaving to or going with. Rudiger is actually apparently being reported to be joining Juventus on a 4-year contract worth 6.5 million a season. Milan's wage bills have gone down a lot since last season. I think it's around 80 million, and before it was a lot more. Aubameyang is doing an amazing season at Barcelona. I know this isn't Serie A related, but I just wanted to point out such an amazing season, and we could have gotten him, Milan, for basically the fee that Barcelona bought him for, I think, and he would have been a great striker, but he did not come to us. Manchester United out of Champions League next season. They are basically, I don't think they're going to be able to come top 4, and they are out of the Champions League already, so they're probably going to be outside of the Champions League next season. PSG are actually doing very well in their league, but they're just not going to be able to keep up with everything internationally, even if they get more players, man. Literally, who's going to want to join them after they've gone out of the Champions League so early with all those players and all of that money? Now, speaking about Milan in general, we have a few transfers that I want to talk about, like Origi to Milan is almost confirmed, Botman to Milan is almost confirmed, Scamacca to Milan, and Berardi was reported for around 50 million, 15 million going for Berardi and the rest going for Scamacca. But Berardi apparently Sassuolo think that he's worth a lot more than 15 million. They want around 35 to 40. Milan probably won't take that, and that is why in this video I have mentioned to go for Delafeu and not Berardi, and then go for someone random, I don't know who, for right wing, for the other right wing position. Abraham sets a record of new goals at the first season at Roma. Inter apparently managed to reject him and took Lukaku instead, apparently, in the beginning of last season, or the season before. Apparently Zaniolo, Pogba, Milinkovic, Savic, Rudiger, alongside Raspadori and a few others are amongst Juventus's biggest signings for next season. Well, obviously the only one that's confirmed is Rudiger, but the others might be likely too. Messias is probably not going to be signing another contract with Milan, reported by Gazzetta. but if he does, he will be signed at a reduced price from the 5 million they agreed in the beginning. New captain, once Romagnoli is going to be leaving, probably to Lazio, what or who, more likely, would be the new captain? Would it be Tonali, Theo, or Calabria? Those are the most likely three. And who will be the new captain? Zlatan, for next season, will he sign a new contract? And will he sign as a coach/player, or will he just sign as a player? And then will he move on to a technical director after the next few seasons? Reported fee is for 2 to 3 million for Ibrahimovic to sign a new contract. So yeah, let's speak about the national teams. So Kaanoglu, Turkey got out of the World Cup 3-0 against Portugal, if I'm not mistaken, and then they lost against Italy in that extra game 3-2, in which Tonali got an assist. Tonali and Florenzi were the only two called up for Italy. Leao got called up for Portugal, and they beat North Macedonia 2-0 and 3-0 against Turkey, in which Leao got an assist. Salamakers against Ireland, he played 2-2, and then Burkina Faso 3-0. Theo and Mike and Giroud played against Ivory Coast. Giroud got a goal and Theo got an assist. Kalulu and Adli played in the under-21 against, I'm not sure who it was against, but Adli got the assist. 5-0 against Northern Ireland as well for the under-21s. Kessie played in the game against France, that finished 2-1. Cringe played a game against Georgia, finished 1-0. Ibra played the game against Czech Republic and Poland, 1-0, and then it finished 2-0, in which they lost and they went out of the World Cup. And Maldini played a game that was in the under-21s against 1-1, and Benaker's Algeria is out of the World Cup as well. That was a quick rundown on the games of the international. Now guys, I want to ask you a few questions. Who do you think will be winning the league? I'm going to leave a poll up here for each one of these, and hopefully polls are still on YouTube. If they're not, put them down below in the comments. So who do you think will win the league? Who do you think Milan should bring in at right wing? What position do you think we need the most at Milan? Who should Milan sign for striker? Who is winning the league? Who it will become last in the league? What's the biggest issue at Milan right now? Who is going to get relegated? And who will finish in the Champions League positions and the Europa League positions? Those are all the questions from today's video. I'm going to be doing this on every few videos. Add in a few questions for you guys to answer. I think it would be good. And let's add another one more. Who should be the new captain? Because I mentioned them and I'm not sure. I think personally Tonali would be the best fit. But right now, Tonali's never been given the captain's armband, and only it's been given to Theo and what's his name, Kessie, and also Calabria. So he's never been given the captain's armband. Maybe it is a bit too early, but I do think that Tonali should be given the captain's armband very, very soon. So yeah, that is all for today, guys. I'm gonna have to edit this quite a lot because I made a few errors, and also I just want to make it so that it's compact and nice to watch. So if you're watching, I hope you have enjoyed. I hope you did answer the questions. Obviously, if you're answering the questions, you let me know that you've watched right up until the point that I've asked the questions at, wherever I choose to edit them in. And yeah, I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, make sure to hit that like button and let me know if you want me to discuss a few different topics next video. Maybe leave some questions for me down below in the comments to ask me a few questions about the team or about the league or about football in general. I really don't mind. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed. As I said, subscribe if you have, and also leave a like, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Peace.